Same old Ferrari, yet another strategic blunder that cost the team a one-day finish. Also the chance to close the gap on Max Verstappen in the Drivers' Championship. Ferrari had the win in the bag with Charles Leclerc leading and Carlos Sainz just behind him. They could have easily double-stacked the pair of the drivers, 4.6 seconds separating them, and Lewis Hamilton another 2 seconds behind Carlos in P3. Instead, they chose to leave Leclerc out to dry as the championship contender. On a day where Verstappen was plagued by car issues and suffering from 50% of downforce loss due to floor damage, Ferrari somehow failed to close the gap at the top. This is typical of Ferrari to start a title charge strongly and then one strategic blunder after another. The team has long passed the glory days of Michael Schumacher and has only one championship in the last 15 years since the German has left the team. Which begs the question, despite having plethora of talented drivers including Kimi Räikkönen, Fernando Alonso, Sebastian Vettel, and Charles Leclerc, why does the team fail to capitalize on that talent? Since their last Drivers' Championship in 2007, they have had a total of 6 championship collapses. In 2008, Ferrari decided to pivot from the driving style of Kimi towards the driving style of Felipe Massa due to internal political reasons. Following 2 title losses to Sebastian Vettel in 2010 and 2012, Ferrari recruited the 4-time world champion, only to sack the team that recruited him and replace the team with Maurizio as team principal. It took Ferrari multiple years to come up with a competitive car for Sebastian. In 2017, they finally had a car that could actually challenge for the title, and lo and behold, they couldn't even produce reliable spark plugs. Let it sink in for a minute. Ferrari, a team with a budget of $500 million, couldn't produce reliable spark plugs. The German driver was plagued by issues all throughout the season, especially in the second part of the season. I went back and looked at some of the instances for reference. Canadian Grand Prix 2017, loss of downforce cost them the win. Silverstone, tire failure. Hungarian Grand Prix, steering issues. Belgian Grand Prix, underpowered engine. Italian Grand Prix, underpowered engine. Japanese Grand Prix, spark plug failure. Malaysian Grand Prix, no qualifying even when Vettel had the pace to get the pole. Spanish Grand Prix, bad strategic call left Vettel in a limbo. No driver in the history of F1 was winning the championship with SF78 in 2017. In 2018, Ferrari came up with one of their better cars since F2004. The SF71H had revolutionary sidepod design that later down the road even Mercedes copied in the title-winning car. Mid-season upgrade also seems to work for the team as both Ferrari and Mercedes brought engine upgrades and Ferrari seemed to be performing better, giving them a strong hold on the both championship. How did it all collapse? Simple. Another blunder for Ferrari. Italian Grand Prix 2018, bad strategic call. Singaporean Grand Prix 2018, upgrade, setback. Russian Grand Prix 2018, new upgrades failed and hindered the performance of the car. Japanese Grand Prix 2018, the upgrades brought at Russia were stripped of the car and Ferrari returned to the old spec car. By no means am I saying Sebastian Vettel was blameless in 2018. Specifically in 2018, he made some mistakes and he has to carry that, but the team did not put him in a place to succeed. And when Vettel tried to provide the feedback for the car mid-season, and when providing the feedback for the car, Sebastian Vettel was told to shut up and drive. A 4-time world champion was told to shut up and drive. Now, comparatively, look at Vettel's own time at Red Bull, where he dominated a stacked field of world champions, or Lewis Hamilton at Mercedes, for instance. The driver is given freedom to express himself, and the team rallies around the driver and develops the car into that driver's specific driving style. Moving on. In 2019, Ferrari signed Charles Leclerc, and straight we went into the chaos. Bahrain Grand Prix 2019 team orders in the very first race. Charles Leclerc was told not to pass Sebastian Vettel, which he did and was leading the Grand Prix until engine issues cost him the win, and he finished P3. Singaporean Grand Prix, a strategic call made Sebastian Vettel undercut Charles Leclerc for the win. Mexican Grand Prix 2019, bad strategic call and a pit stop that cost Charles Leclerc 6.5 seconds cost him the win and also the podium. He finished P4. Brazilian Grand Prix, and this is where it all, for a lack of better word, collided together for Ferrari as Charles Leclerc and Sebastian Vettel crashed into each other, closing out the season for Ferrari in 2019. The following 2 years were write-off for Ferrari, as just 1 month before the start of 2020 season, Ferrari engine was made illegal by the FIA, and they were left scrambling in 2020, finishing 6th and recovering in 2021 to finish 3rd. Ferrari spent those 2 years building up to being a title contending team again, under the new and most drastic regulation changes since the 80s. The ground effect car out back in 2022. Everyone seemed to be praising Ferrari for their car being quick in all types of tracks. 2 wins at the start of the season from 3, and the dominating showing at Australia had Ferrari leading both drivers and constructors championship once again. Charles Leclerc had a healthy lead of 46 points after 3 races. You would think with Red Bull having reliability issues and everyone else severely off the pace of Ferrari and Red Bull, that Ferrari would run away with both championships. You would be wrong. Cue another season collapse. Spanish Grand Prix 2020, engine failure while Charles Leclerc is leading the race. Monaco Grand Prix 2020, strategic blunder leaves Charles Leclerc in 4th place after he was leading the race and quite significantly the fastest guy on the track. Baku 2022, another engine failure while Charles Leclerc is leading the race. Canadian Grand Prix, Charles Leclerc starts from the back of the grid, taking an engine penalty and only recovering back to 5th place after a slow pit stop cost him at a chance of a possible podium. Silverstone 2022, Charles Leclerc leading the race quite comfortably. Ferrari a 1-2, Carlos Sainz just behind Charles, a safety car. After Ocon suffers an engine failure, Ferrari decide not to bring Charles Leclerc in, leaving him on used hard tires, with everyone behind him pitting on new soft tires. Yet again, he was passed by 3 cars, leaving him to finish only 4th. Ferrari constantly makes questionable decisions and struggles to have a clear understanding of the roles for their drivers. There is something fundamentally wrong with the culture within the team. If it continues, the prancing horse will have a hard time competing and sustaining a title challenge in the future as well. If you like the video, please like the video and sub to the channel. It helps me out greatly, and if you want me to cover something specific in the future, please comment in the below and I'll do my best to cover it. Thank you.